it's not even just black voters, as you see. It's Latino voters, it's youth voters. I think my man Tim Ryan coined the perfect phrase when he said that, most people in America are part of the exhausted majority.
The Biden campaign is hemorrhaging votes from two key demographics that he needs or he's done. That would be black voters and Latino voters. Why is this happening? Well, Charlamagne the God is a very influential African-American radio host. He's making the rounds right now, and he has an opinion. Take a look.
Why do you think he's falling short among black voters?
I think that, it's not even just black voters, as you see. It's Latino voters, it's youth voters. I think my man Tim Ryan coined the perfect phrase when he said that, most people in America are part of the exhausted majority.
The exhausted majority. I like that phrase, actually. And Elaine, listen, a lot of the African-American voters and Hispanic voters, they're trying to get their piece of the American dream right now. And they have the benefit for the first time in 120 some odd years, they can decide this November from the current president and the economic conditions he's put forth and the last president. And well, that's a comparison that favors Donald Trump, I would think, especially for minority voters who had a better situation for themselves as young entrepreneurs just 3.5 years ago.
Well, we actually believe that it's going to be the Hispanic vote that wins this election. Whoever wins that vote is going to win the election. Hispanics are the fastest growing demographic, and they represent 15% of the electorate. So it's a huge number, and they are moving more conservative. And what we saw in 2020 is that Trump won 38% of the Hispanic vote, which almost reached George W. Bush's high water mark of 40%. And right now he's polling and beating Biden. He's polling at 46% of the Hispanic vote. We think he could make it to 50%. And so we have launched a Hispanic vote coalition with two other groups, Bienvenido and the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Coalition, which represents 40,000 Hispanic Christian churches across the country, because polls do not equate to votes. And so the goal of this campaign is to motivate and galvanize the Hispanic vote, because Hispanics believe in everything we do. They believe in faith. They believe in family and entrepreneurship. They want safe communities. It's not just about immigration and the border for them. It's all of those things that are so important. And those are the things that Trump did very well on. And Hispanics did very well under the Trump administration, from starting businesses. They are one of the most entrepreneurial groups in the country. So we believe that if Trump wins the Hispanic vote, he will win the election.
Elaine, let me follow up with that, because you see anecdotally, it's often sort of man on the street type interviews on the news programs. But anecdotally, it appears that a lot of the first or second generation Hispanic voters will cite decisions made by this administration or by left-leaning politicians across the country. They see those decisions and policies reflective of the countries they left. They say, we didn't want this. That's why we came to America. And now you're seeing, sort of more socialist and sort of top-down economic ideas that tend to never work being employed now here in America. And is that why, does your polling reflect that? Is that why they're moving over to the Republicans? Because they're actually seeing policies that led them here in the first place.
Yes, and we've done some focus groups out in Maricopa County, Arizona, and talked to Hispanic small business owners. And that is exactly what they're telling us is we came here for our piece of the pie. We came here for American freedom, the opportunity to start a business and run a business, and the freedoms that provides. And like I said, they are one of the most entrepreneurial demographics in this country. They're more entrepreneurial than non-Hispanic than their non-Hispanic counterparts. And because of that, that's why they came here, and they see it slipping away, just like our non-Hispanic counterparts do. And they want to fight for it. So like I said, whoever wins that vote is going to win the election.
Robert Charles, are we seeing a bit of a cultural shift here? I think in the last couple of elections, we saw President Trump really appeal to those blue collar sort of union worker, Rust Belt white voters that Ronald Reagan was able to harness back in 1980. But now about these minority voters who are also blue collar, who are also looking for sort of the traditional American values that built this country into what we call the American dream. Is that cultural shift now moving over to Republicans, even if they are maybe losing more of the elite, affluent, suburban voters that they used to count on?
Yeah, I think that's a good analysis. I'll say that AMAC does a lot of polling, and both with Hispanics, and I'll also mention veterans. AMAC.us is finding exactly what Elaine is finding, that there is a value shift. I would reduce it to 3 words: truth, values, and realignment. The truth part is, as Churchill said, you can step on it, you can kick it to the side, you can try to destroy it. When everything's done, truth is there. Truth is that Donald Trump was incredibly good at helping every demographic of the country, blacks, Hispanics, the various elements of the Hispanic community, all to rise. And that is, it's incontrovertible. It's right there in black and white, and they see it in their own homes and families. Second, with respect to values, and I love what she said too, because ultimately the Hispanic community, whether we're talking El Salvador or Mexico or Dominican Republic or Colombia, it really doesn't matter. They tend to be very Catholic. That is to say, they focus on their faith, very family oriented. They focus on their family, and very hardworking, above and beyond the entrepreneurship. So at the end of the day, those values are Republican values. They have become Republican values. And the last thing is, what Ronald Reagan did in 1984 is he realigned the entire country. He really realigned it less on white, black, and Hispanic as he did on the economics, which are extremely powerful. He pulled blue collar America of every kind, the trades, everybody around behind him, and he won 49 out of 50 states. And I tell you, I don't want to predict the future, but the way this is going, Trump might do something similar.
Well, and I'll add this. When we talk about Hispanic voters, first and second generation, coming here and seeing these economic policies that ruined the country they just left, you can also bring it back to our dominant story this week, which was the conviction in a Manhattan courtroom of former President Donald Trump, now current nominee for the Republican Party for president. That's just the kind of thing, the kind of abuse of the judicial system and political weaponization of the court system that many of those Hispanic voters thought they left behind when they came here from third world countries. This also may add to that potential new majority that Donald Trump is stitching together.